Hello, this is a guide on how to create a custom loot filter for Path of Exile 2. In this video I will go over all the basics of making a loot filter, how to easily create custom sounds and colors for your loot filter, such as these, as well as how to quickly edit and upload filters directly to your game, how to customize item tiers, and much more. So starting off, you're going to want to go to filterblade.xyz. I will leave a link to that in the description below. You're going to be greeted with this welcome screen here, and we're going to select PoE2. Next up, in the top right, you want to sign in with PoE. This is 100% safe. It is the filter that 99.9% of all streamers and players of PoE1 are going to be using. Once you have signed in with either your Path of Exile account or Steam account, you'll be greeted with this screen, and you just go ahead and click Authorize. And once you have successfully logged in, you'll get this pop-up and just go ahead and refresh the page. You'll then be greeted with this screen, and to start out, we are just going to click on Create New Filter. Right here, you can see base levels of strictness for your filter that you can assign. For example, if we clicked on Very Strict here, you see we hide all transmutes, augments, and scrolls of wisdom. For the sake of this video, I'm going to go with the strict filter. Next up, you come up to Export to PoE here on the top right. You create a name for your filter, and then click Sync or Download. Next, you'll be greeted with this screen, and you just need to select the top, create a new sync target. It will also display any previous filters that you've created in this menu here. That filter will not immediately appear in-game for you to use immediately. Hopping in-game here real quick, I will now drop some items on the ground, and as you can see, this is what they would look and sound like normally. Then, we just press O, select the Game tab. Under Item Filter, we select our item filter, and then click Save. And now, this is what the items are going to look and sound like. As you can see, they look quite a bit nicer. I'll now show you how you can customize your loot filter. Starting off, there would be two ways you can go about this. You can either go to the Simulate tab, which I will go over in a second and do not currently recommend, or the Customize tab. Starting off with the Simulate tab here, you can click Generate Loot, and it will show you exactly what your filter is hiding or not hiding. If you see something that you do not like, for example this white item here, you can click on it, and then click Disable, and it will automatically hide that item from the filter. However, right now, this is a bit finicky, as you can see some other items just disappeared from our filter here, and I would not recommend doing it as it seems to be hiding more than it should be. If you have made this mistake, you can just go back to your filters, and it will erase the changes that you have made as long as you have not synced it with your profile. So reloading our filter here, we're going to come back over and go to the Customize tab. I'll click on the top here, and we'll just go over what you're seeing here on my screen. So starting off here, where it says base type followed by some items, these are the items that have been set to the S tier of currency and will be labeled with this decorator. In the top left here, you have some options. The TX is the text color. The BD is the border color. And the BG is the background color. Now, coming over to the right-hand side here, at the top right, you're going to see a little slider, and this is going to change how big the decorator is. And below that, we have a couple options. This first one on the right is going to be the color of the loot beam that appears on the ground when it is dropped. To the left of that, we have an icon that will be displayed on the map when it is dropped. And finally, to the left here is going to be the sound that it plays when it is dropped. Now that you are familiar with the UI that we are working with here, I'm going to go in and explain a little bit about how you can move items between tiers to your liking. So at the top here, we have the most expensive items that you can drop, but down here we have some lower tiered currencies. Let's say I value having Exalts more. I could move it from the C tier to the B tier simply by clicking and dragging it up into the next tier. You can move items between any tier that you'd like, and tailor this to what you would like to see. Next up, if I just pop some of these up down here, let's say I don't care about Arcanist Etchers or Blacksmith's Whetstones. Well, in order to hide these items, we can just go over here on the left and click Hide. and now these items will not appear on our filter. I'll go ahead and just re-enable that and then close the general currency. Now let's move on to uniques. The hard truth in Path of Exile is that a lot of uniques are simply worthless. You can get them for 1 exalt or less, and down here you're going to see uniques that fall into that category. That's why they're labeled hideable. So if you don't want to see these very cheap uniques, you can just go ahead and hide those as well. Below that, we have some multi-special high uniques. This is indicating that some of the uniques dropped on these bases are very expensive, and some of them are very cheap, such as the heavy belt having Headhunter, and honestly, I'm not sure what else, but another unique apparently that isn't very good. These items have to be tiered this way because the API provided by Grinding Gear Games for loot filters does not specify exactly which unique item has dropped when it drops. It only specifies that it is a unique heavy belt, for example. So the loot filter has no way to tell which exact unique heavy belt dropped, even if it is identified. So you will have to hover over the item in-game, see the artwork, or identify it to be able to know exactly which unique it is. The uniques in the hideable tab is taking this into account, of course, and all of the uniques on these specific bases are very cheap. Next up, let's go over chancing bases. These items are items that you can use an Orb of Chance on to have a chance to obtain a valuable unique item. Again, for example, Heavy Belt is going to be Headhunter, or Stellar Amulet is going to be Astromantis. I personally am not too sure what Sapphire Ring or Emerald Ring are, but whatever they are, let's say I just wanted to remove them, I can click on the X button here, and it will remove that from our filter here. But don't do that without knowing the price of the current unique item on there, or if you just don't care about using Chance Orbs. Next up, we have Runes and Soul Cores. This is pretty much the same as Currency. You can move these between the tiers as you would like, if you would like to. I'm going to leave them alone. We have Gems. This is an important thing to go over. I don't know about you guys, but I'm being flooded with support gems and skill gems, way more than what I need. So let's go ahead and pop open this one right here for support gems under random gem drops in endgame. As you can see at the bottom here, we now have an area level modifier specifying that the area level is going to be greater than or equal to at least area level 65. If I wanted to hide them in zones that are that level or above, we could click hide. It specifies this because in the next section, the random gem drops for campaign under support, it will be showing support gems in lower than level 65 zones. This is useful because maybe you want to drop some support gems as you're leveling up a new character. I will go ahead and close those, and let's pop over to the leveled gems up here now. So this down here is saying the item level is equal to at least level 19. This means that if we were to say hide these down here, it's not going to show any skill gems that are below level 19. You could, for example, change this number by moving this down or typing in a new number to show all skill gems above or equal to level 17 if that is something that you would like to do. So I'm going to go ahead and close the gems section. Next up is the gold. You could hide this, I guess, if you have it on your screen. Next up is the highlight specific bases, and this is very useful. So it already has some preloaded options here, being the Expert Dual String Bow and Primed Quiver. But let's say I want to show the Expert Keth Raiment, which is the best ES base type for stuff like Mind Over Matter builds. All you have to do is navigate to this search box right here, type in the name of whatever base type you would like, and then click on it, and it will add it to this group here. Below that, we have the specified rarity that will receive this highlight. Here we have normal magic, and you can turn it on for rare and unique to give it this decorator as well. This can be useful if you want to do things like use your currency items on white or magic bases for a base type that you would like to see. Moving on from that, we can get to the rares section now. These are going to be very useful rules here, and you see that these are for normal and magic items right here. If you check on this box, it will hide all armor base types. This one will hide all evasion base types, energy shield, hybrid armor and energy shield, etc. Moving down here to the hide weapon classes, If you turn this on, it's going to hide every kind of weapon that is normal or magic. Now, you might not want to do this. Say if you won't want to hide bows, you just need to uncheck bow and it will show white and magic bow bases. Following this, we have some rules for rare items now. And again, these all apply the same as the ones above, except they apply to rare items of those types. I'm going to skip over this for now because there are some better rare rules just below us here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this section up. And let's move to the add custom show or hide rules. So these three with the dragonfly icon here are going to be very similar to this rule up here that we previously went over. You can use this rule to also show rares with this decorator up here, but these rules down here are a little more customizable. This first rule under highlight rares by base functions almost identically to the one up top, except for just rares. The next one highlights by the armor type. For example, if we click show here, we could select, let's say I want to show energy shield bases of the body armor, boots, gloves, etc. variety with a special red decorator. We could do that. Highlighting by item slot, we could select an item class. Let's say I want to show wands specifically, any wand, or if I want to show specifically any helmet, we could do that here as well. The following rules are going to be all the same as the rules above it, except that they are for hiding. So for example, if I wanted to hide specifically for some reason this advanced brimmed helm, I could add this and it will hide specifically the advanced brim helm of the rare rarity. Below this we have some decorators. If an item is tiny, is referring to small one-slot items such as rings or amulets. Below that we have, if it's a level 82 or higher, it's going to have this orange text, meaning it is a item level 82 item and it can roll the maximum tier of affixes. Below that, if it is corrupted, if it's a corrupted item, or if it has a corrupted mod, such as a corrupted implicit modifier, like plus resistance on jewels, for example. And at the bottom here is just a general decorator for all rare items. Below that are some decorators for some normal items, such as if they have quality, item level 82 or higher, or if it's a ring, belt, or amulet. The next rules here, the ring, amulets, and belts, and the weapons and armors, are going to be how rares are tiered. So some base types are better than others. For example, if we go to the amulet section here, we can see that the Crimson Amulet, which gives like 3 life regeneration per second or something, is in the tier 3 section and it's pretty bad. So if you wanted to, you could just disable that. These are being tiered by this section down here, where on the left hand side here you can select a base type, for example the amulets, and you can see that the Crimson Amulet is being categorized as a tier 3 base, meaning it is the worst amulet base type. In the middle here you see the tier 2 bases, and on the left hand side here you see the tier 1 bases being the best base type. If you wanted to, you can click on these colors here to move these amulets between tiers. For example, let's say I like the gold amulet that gives rarity. I could move this up to tier 1, and the higher, the more apparent highlight here would be applying to it. I personally would not recommend messing with these tiers too much unless you are very advanced, in which case you probably wouldn't be watching this video, but maybe you are. Wouldn't recommend messing with these too much. And this same rule applies for belts and other jewelry pieces, and same for the other types of rares as well. This includes every type of rare in the game, and you can use these decorators here, these buttons, to change them between tiers. Moving on, we have the flasks and charms. I'm just going to leave that as it is. Waystones, though, are an important one. Here we have special waystones for corrupted mods or enchanted, but very importantly is the normal waystones. So I don't know about you guys, but I have way too many waystones. Where is my waystone stash tab? I'm just going to go ahead and check off literally every waystone that is not tier 14 or above, actually tier 15 or above, because I don't really care about seeing anything below that when I am running tier 15s. And we'll go ahead and hide those. And decorators, these are just some additional colors. These will not cause the Waystones to show. These are just decorators if they are showing. Following that, we have some fragment type stuff like boss invitations, breach splinters and simulacrum splinters, ascendancy keys, logbooks. I wouldn't really touch any of this. This next section is for salvageable items. I would personally just recommend going ahead and hiding all of this because who salvages stuff, let's be real. Below this are just some rules for specifically the campaign, which I'm pretty sure is going to be defining by any zone that is level 65 or below, so mainly campaign zones. You can mess with these if you want. I wouldn't really do anything to them. And then at the bottom here, last thing we really have is going to be jewels. Just some decorators for rare jewels, magic jewels, the special jewels that come from the trials. And at the very end here, we have some special rules. These are just some special things for very unique cases, such as the ring that is just called a ring and other stuff. Nothing to mess with in there, really. Once you've made all the customizations that you would like to make, you have two options. I recommend going to the export to PoE, and then at the bottom here where it says more, you click save as new filter. You can then name your filter, for example, the 2.0 or 3.0 version, and save it as a new filter. Click on create new sync target here, and then save and sync. You could just overwrite your previous filter, but in case anything got messed up when you were customizing it, this is just safer so you have a backup of your previous filter. Now that we've done that, I'm going to just quickly go over how to create some custom sounds for your filter. Over here in the style sounds section, you need to click on custom and set all of these to custom. And once you've done that, you can click on manage. Here you will need to upload a sound file that you have already downloaded from another source. The sound files that you upload here will have to be in the same location as the filter file. You can get to this easily by going in game, open up your options, and where you would normally select your filter, click on the little folder icon that's right next to that selection. So we click upload new sound file, and then we select a sound file that we have here and click done. On the left are this little drop down menu here. We click the sound we just selected and it will play the sound to confirm what you would like. You can hover over the rules on each of these tiers here to see exactly what it's going to be applying to, and you can mess around with this and upload any sound you would like and apply them to your filter. So that's going to be it from me. If this video helped you, please leave it a like, and if you want to see more videos like this or perhaps some build guides, please subscribe. This video was longer than I had hoped, but I kept it as concise as I could, and I hope it was of some use. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
Subscribe now and like the video.